Well, dear students, today we are going to learn about second conditional. Let's see. Having a job is very important. When a person doesn't have a job, they can do many things and they feel down all the time. For example, if I had a job, I would help my parents with dispenses. Where is the second conditional? The second conditional is used to imagine present or future situations that are impossible or unlikely. For example, if I want a lot of money, I'd buy a big house. The first part is the if clause, and the second part is the main clause. There is a low possibility to win a lot of money. There is a low probability that the first part of this sentence will happen. But if it happens, the second part is 100% certain. How do we create the second conditional? To make a sentence in second conditional, we use if plus simple past in the first part and would or wouldn't plus verb in its basic form in the second part, both clauses separated by a comma. For example, if we had more free time, we would travel everywhere. The first part is if plus simple past. We have a verb in simple past, in this case, had. That is the past of the verb have. And in the second part, we have would that mentioned a future imagination. Like all conditionals, we can change the position of the clauses. When we use the verb be in second conditional, we are going to make an exception. Remember that when we use the simple past with the verb to be, we can use the verb to be with subjects like he, she, it, or I. The verb be is was. And with subjects like we, you, or they, the verb be is were in simple past. But when we are going to use the verb to be in a second conditional, for subjects like he, she, it, and I, we are going to use were instead of was. Let's see an example. If I were rich, I would spend all my time traveling. If he were my boss, I would look for another job. So you can see in these sentences that when we use subjects like I or he, instead of use the past of the verb be was, we are using were. So this is an exception when we use the verb to be in second conditional. We also use second conditional for polite requests. For example, would you mind if I use your computer? Would it bother you if I close the window? So remember that we can use second conditional to make polite requests. Well, dear students, in this part we are going to learn a new vocabulary. This vocabulary is related to work and employment. Let's see. Employment is a noun. It is the condition of having paid work. For example, she hopes to find employment as a teacher. Employee is a noun. It is someone who gets paid to work for a person or company. For example, he is a salaried employee. Boss is a noun. It's a person who is in charge of a worker group or organization. For example, he asked his boss for a raise. Interview is a noun. It means to ask question of someone who is interested in getting a job or other position. For example, he went for a job interview last Tuesday. Vacancy is a noun. It means a job that is available for somebody. For example, these companies have a lot of vacancies. Salary, wage, or pay. They are nouns. It means money that is paid or received for work or services. For example, he promised to pay us high wage. Overtime is a noun. It means time spent working at your job that is in addition to your normal working hours. For example, I worked 2 hours of overtime last week. Self-employed is an adjective. It means people who don't work for an employer but find work for themselves or have their own business. For example, there are no paid holidays if you are self-employed. To hire is a verb. It means to give work or a job to someone in exchange for wage or a salary. For example, they are going to hire at least 5 new people. To apply for is a verb. It means to make formal requests, usually written, for something such as a job, a place at a university, or permission to do something. For example, she applied for a job with the local newspaper. To fire somebody is a verb. It means to dismiss an employee for a job. For example, the lazy worker was fired. To resign is a verb. It means to give up a job or position by telling your employee that you are leaving. For example, Mr. Rob resigned his position last month. Well, dear students, don't forget to check your notes, your book, or check your videos and continue learning English. Goodbye.